Well, good evening, everyone. It is January 9th, 2026, year of our Lord. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day this podcast finds you. Welcome to Hola America. I'm Ruth, your gracious host. Thank you for another podcast. Thank you for another day, dear Lord. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Carmelo Anthony case, January 6th, 2020, and the election fraud going on in California right now. So, housekeeping. Two dogs. They make noises. All right. They both entered the room because they heard me talking. Neighbors' dogs outside have been going crazy all day, so you're going to hear them bark, which is going to set my dogs off and make them bark. And the trains will be coming by here shortly. Okay? So you're going to hear a lot of noise. So, guys, there's been a lot going on today, and I want to share with you from the Gateway Pundit here. Hold on just a second. I want to go through some stuff here. So, Carmelo Anthony sentenced to 35 years in prison, eligible for parole after half time served. Okay, so we're going to read this here. This came down earlier today. Carmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison after a jury convicted him of murder and fatal stabbing of Austin Metcalf. The 19-year-old Carmelo Anthony will be eligible for parole after half-time served, which is 17 and a half years, I guess. He was facing 99 years in prison. 16-year-old track and football star Austin Metcalf was brutally stabbed to death by Carmelo Anthony in April 2025 during a championship track meet at Kukendall Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Numerous eyewitnesses testified that Carmelo Anthony was the aggressor and instigated the fight. So, there's been Black Panthers gathered outside the courthouse to defend Carmelo Anthony. We got to tell the kids our truth, that this is a racist ass country. We got to tell them truth. Tell them the truth. One of the Black Panthers said, don't nobody want to hear about what we do to each other. We talking about what they doing to us, she said. Great language there. Awesome language. So yeah, he was found guilty, right? And he is going to spend at least 17 years of his life in prison. Just the way it is. Now, there were witnesses on both sides, and here's the one problem that I have with the jury selection. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but there were 3 African American females that were denied to be on the jury. Now, they're saying it wasn't because of the race, it was because they were all teachers, and because it was a school, happened at school, that it would influence them. I don't see how. So I see the appeal is going to be going through. There's going to be another retrial for Anthony Carmelo because they denied him or the rights of those 3 African American females to be jurors in this trial. I see that being a problem, big time. I don't think anything is gonna. I don't see anything good coming out of it. I don't. I know he was upset when he heard the news, but I just don't see anything good coming out of it at all. I think there'll be an appeal, and he'll get another right to trial, but I don't see how he'll be found innocent a second time. All right, so they had SPLC today on the Hill. And let's see. I don't know where. Sorry. So you know about the trial of the SPLC trial going on today, right? And they're saying that they were not racist, that they weren't given to the KKK, they weren't given to Black Lives Matter, they weren't doing any of that. Yet there's plenty of proof and plenty of receipts showing such the fact that they were giving money to Black Lives Matter, they were giving money to KKK groups, they were giving money to Antifa to cross all these rights. Excuse me. And they will be found as such. Okay. Up. Let's take that off. All right. Now, let's go to X. We're going to share X. I'm going to go here, here. All right, let me see. We're going to go to my bookmarks. There's President Trump talking, always talking about. And he's talking about the SAVE Act. He's going to get the people's names in the SAVE Act, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. It's dead. They're not going to pass it, even though there's tons of fraud going on right now.
Telling me that the electrician who goes to work every day and clocks in and works his butt off and tries to earn just enough to be able to, make his rent, maybe have a kid or two, put food on the table, his tax money is being used to buy other people luxury items, cars, yachts, whatever else, and is going to fund terrorism and child trafficking?
Yes, sir.
$1 trillion a year on this stuff?
$115 million an hour.
$115 million an hour. How do they get their hands on it? What are we talking about here? Trends, national organizations, criminal networks? How do they get their hands on this money?
They take advantage of antiquated government systems and processes. They go into programs that they know elected and appointed officials won't, and they can steal at scale. They learned a really valuable lesson. Government never, and the probability of getting caught is virtually zero.
Okay, so let me... This is why the swamp is so impossible to drain, as it says here. It was a lot bigger than Trump thought. Can you imagine $115 million an hour being taken from our tax money and from bills that they pass on the Hill and the money laundering that they do for all these bills that are stupid, like cooking classes for gigolos in Haiti, $10 million for transgenders in Iraq, all these, $10 million to study fish dying in Africa, and we don't know why they're dying. Who gives a shit? All this money's being used, okay? The massive web of corruption spanning both parties, where D.C. uses illicit funds to control federal, state, and local governments for their own bidding. Absolutely appalling. Who benefits when the gravy train never stops? What do you think? This is why the swamp is so big. This is why it's taking so long to get rid of these damn fat alligators that are in the Senate that have been there for 150 years, that keep cheating in their elections. Lindsey Graham. Yes. Nancy Pelosi. Adam Schiff. Maxine Waters. Jerry Nadler. Eric Swalwell. Ted Cruz, John Cornyn, which no more. All you fuckers out there passing all these bills. Marjorie Taylor Greene got it right. She got her 5 years in, she got her pension, and she left before she could be sued and is now in Costa Rica where you can't be extradited. She too was doing insider trading, as most of them are anyway. And this is why there's a lot of Republicans that are Trump haters, because they know Trump wants to stop this with the Doge investigation and now the J.D. Vance fraud task force, finding all this fraud. Think of all the fraud they found in California with the hospice, right? The fraud found in Ohio and Maine with the food stamps and the SNAP, where they were taking that money and getting luxurious cars and yachts and furs and diamonds and paying their mistresses apartments and condos, all that stuff, and misters, and just taking our money and spending it at will, like they deserve it. This is why we cannot have an honest government. All right, so why does the Senate always seem to oppose the Trump agenda? Barbara Boyd is going to explain it to you here in a quickie. Listen to Barbara, what she says.
America Act The media will give you all sorts of answers, starting with the fact that the Republican majority in the Senate is razor thin. But that's not the real story. To begin, you have to look at the real influences on the U.S. Senate. Today, we're going to look at a very significant donor, Larry Ellison. He also happens to be the major funder of former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair. We're going to show you how Blair and Ellison plotted to start a forever war with Iran, which would trap Donald Trump and destroy his presidency. The war so far has been a disaster for Blair and his sponsors in the City of London. That's why Blair is frantically trying to reinvent himself and rescue Democrats here by a comeback tour, which started with an extraordinary 5,700-word mea culpa from Tony Blair, published just last week. I'm Barbara Boyd, and I've watched the U.S. Senate sabotage this president for 10 years. Today, we'll profile John Thune and the Senate Republican Campaign Committee, where Larry Ellison is a hugely significant donor. Then we'll look at the Tony Blair Institute, where Tony Blair and Larry Ellison planned a regime change war in Iran. If you think Israel was the cause of this war, you're missing the real picture. But before I dig in, please hit the like button and share this video. We're aiming to get to 1 million YouTube subscribers, and we're at 611,000 right now. Let's start with a number, $35 million. That is what Larry Ellison, Oracle, technology companies on Earth, poured into making Tim Scott the President of the United States in 2024. Tim Scott called Larry Ellison his mentor. He said so publicly at his campaign launch. Tim Scott lost to Donald Trump. Who else did Ellison heavily fund? $1 million to Lindsey Graham this March alone. Graham chairs the Budget Committee, sits on Appropriations and Judiciary. Graham's insatiable warmongering is just one aspect of this relationship. And Oracle gave $15,000 directly to the National Republican Senatorial Committee, plus $50,000 more from Ellison personally. The NRSC is the Senate's campaign machinery. Ellison protege Tim Scott chairs it and runs it. That's who just blew an estimated $90 million trying to defeat Ken Paxton and protect the rhino John Cornyn in Texas. Which gets us to John Thune. When Thune won a seat in 2005, he became Mitch McConnell's protege, climbing every rung of McConnell's ladder for 15 years until January 2025, when he took McConnell's seat as Senate Majority Leader. He beat the other McConnell protege, Senator John Cornyn from Texas. McConnell, an instrument of the Bush family, hates this president, and McConnell's proteges have acted on that hatred. Thune voted to certify the 2020 election. He has publicly disagreed with the president on nationalizing elections. And in 2024, he endorsed, guess who? Tim Scott. Ideologically, the Bush crowd in the Senate is dedicated to the post-war globalist order, which Donald Trump is destroying. That's why they gave billions to Ukraine in a blank check for war with Russia, and they still try to block Trump's push for peace there. When the British House of Lords came to Washington in 2018 and 2026, they were studying what could be done to save their world order from the American president. Both times they reported that Congress and the defense and intelligence officials were still committed to their order.
Okay, so you heard that, right? What she said there. That's why John Thune is opposing the SAVE Act, as well as the other Republicans that we've been seeing opposing the SAVE Act, because they're in the back pocket of Larry Ellison. That's why he cannot destroy the swamp. Tim Scott, not a good guy. You think he is, but he's not on Trump's side. Lindsey Graham, not on Trump's side. All they can see is the money. And that's why when you get up there in D.C., you can't trust anybody, because money talks and bullshit walks. They're all getting paid off to oppose Trump. They won't pass the SAVE Act. They won't pass a lot of stuff that he wants to get pushed through, because Ellison is giving them all the money. Do you get it now? It is so corrupt up there that you probably can't fly over into D.C. without having to hold your nose because it stinks, because it's so full of shit. They're mad because he cleaned up the reflecting pool, and he cleaned Columbus Square, and he fixed the fountains in the city to make it more attractive to tourists. They're mad about that. But everybody that opposes Trump, and he knows who his loyalties, where his loyalties lie within his tribe, and where it doesn't lie. Thune needs to get thrown out. McConnell's gone. We need to get rid of all these rhinos. I think Lindsey Graham's going to lose his seat to the gerrymandering is going to be happening in South Carolina once they get it fixed, which is good. We don't need him there. We need to get rid of all these politicians that have been there for 4 and 5 terms and get new blood in. That's what we need. This is why he can't get things done, because all these rhinos and all these people that are putting their hand out for the next bill they're going to pass, give me my chair, where's mine's, are doing this to Trump. Susie Wiles. Listen to this. Oh, hold on.
He's going to have a fun next year. But we're going to put him on the campaign trail, too. Typically, just a little bit of campaign speak, if I may.
Yeah.
Typically, in the midterms, it's not about who's sitting at the White House. It's you localize the election.
Right.
And you keep the federal officials out of it. We're actually going to turn that on its head.
Good.
And put him on the ballot, because so many of those low propensity voters are Trump voters.
Yes, they are.
And we saw a week ago Tuesday what happens when he's not on the ballot and not active. So I haven't quite broken it to him yet, but he's going to campaign like it's 2024 again.
Oh.
For all these people that he helps. He doesn't help everybody, but for those he does, he's a difference maker, and he's certainly a turnout machine. So the midterms will be very important to us.
So she's saying, that's the chief of staff, by the way, Susie Wiles. She's saying that Trump is going to be campaigning for the midterms to keep the House and the Senate. Now, he should have been campaigning in Maine for Susan Collins, because she's going to get her butt beat by the Nazi Graham Plattner today. She's going to get her butt beat. He should have been campaigning in California for Pratt and Hilton. He needs to campaign everywhere they've got a Democrat campaigning, which is every state. From now on, he needs to get out there and start shouting to the hill to vote his candidate in. I'm telling you, if we lose the House, they're going to impeach Trump come January 6th. So, they're still counting in California. It is rigged. Steve Hilton calls out this insanity of California's elections and the loose, unique laws, like using a gym membership to vote, designed to keep Democrats in power. So I love Steve Hilton.
Everything that's gone wrong in this state with these Democrats. They can't run anything properly. They can't build a railway. They can't clear the homelessness. They can't run an election. It's riddled with total uselessness and incompetence. And just I want to pick up on that point that was made there in defending this insanity in California. Oh, we want it to be accessible and secure. Oh, really? Well, let's have a look at that. So one of the things that they do in the name of participation is say we're going to send mail-in ballots to everybody, and then we're going to allow you to send your mail-in ballot in up to election day, because we want to be fair. You'll treat it just like voting in person. So if you mail your ballot on election day, we're going to give you 7 days for it to arrive, because, you never know how the Postal Service, how quickly they can get it to us. 7 days. That's why they're still counting. That's why the election is still going on a week after election day. But you would think that to make sure that the ballot was actually cast no later than election day, they look at the postmark. And that's what most people assume. Well, here are the actual rules, okay? This is from the actual election law, and it's got a list of the things that are a voter's what makes a ballot valid.
Listen.
A voter's ballot shall be considered a valid ballot if this section 8, vote by mail ballot identification envelope has no dated postmark, the postmark is illegible, and there's no date stamp for receipt from a bona fide private mail delivery service, but the voter has dated the vote by mail ballot.
I mean,
what does that mean? It means
what could go wrong?
Write it with your hand. In other words, in the California rules that they claim are secure, you can backdate your ballot.
You can backdate. What could go? Okay, let me ask you a couple quick ones. You got a 300,000 vote lead right now over Tom Steyer. Are you concerned that lead could disappear?
No, there's no chance really of that. No serious observer thinks that. We're very confident now that
Okay.
we'll be in the top two, which means we'll have a chance to vote for change in California in November and kick out these useless people.
Great news for you. Spencer Pratt, he's in the process of getting hosed right now in Los Angeles. Do you think there's been fraud in this election?
I don't know. We haven't seen any evidence of that in our race. We're very concerned, of course, about what's going on in Los Angeles. Bill Asaley, the U.S. attorney, is all over it. Bill is great. I've been talking to him, and I have full confidence that he's going to make sure anything untoward is properly investigated and we get to the bottom of it.
Do you trust the Nithya Raman? So she's got a 3,000 vote lead, give or take, over Spencer Pratt right now, with about 83% of the vote counted in Los Angeles. Her mail-in numbers have gone up by 20%. His mail-in ballot numbers have gone down by 10%. Doesn't that just seem a little odd all of a sudden since Election Day?
So what I think is going on there is this machine that they've built for what they call ballot harvesting. And you've had so many people. I mean, look at James O'Keefe.
I'll tell you about ballot harvesting here in just a second. Okay, so in some of the videos, and you know what, I might have it here. I might, let me see. They're going downtown and registering the homeless people to, I don't have it here. All right, they're going downtown and registering the homeless people in LA and giving them money to vote. And as you said, they're using gym memberships, library cards, car registration. Some of the ballots, this is ridiculous. I wish I had my phone here to show you. They're just a piece of paper with a name on it that has the name Rahman, whatever it is, or Bass. So I said yesterday, 24,813 mail-in ballot, a dump came in the night after the election, and 24,800 went to Bass, 13 went to Rahman, and none went to Pratt. That's mathematically impossible. But they're going and they're paying these homeless people $3 and $4, 3 and 4 times to put a fake name down and then write down Rahman or Bass. And then they're submitting it. Just a piece of paper, not even a legal ballot. And then they're having people register, like elderly people, voting 100 times. In this last election, this last primary, voting 100 times. One lady had a ballot cast 115 times and was not aware. The ballot was still sitting in her house. And she goes, how did I vote that many times when the ballot's right here in my house? They're cheating. And if you can't see the cheating, then you're blind. You're twice as blind. You're Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles put together. Yeah, I said it. If you can't see the cheating going on in California and the cheating the same thing happened in 2020, then you're blind. You're twice blind. You're Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder put together. I just called to say I love you. Yes, you're twice as blind. Okay? You're twice as blind, and it don't go up all the way. It stops like right here. It stops a few stories short from the top. All right? Simple as that. Simple as that. There's nothing more to say about that. I mean, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, listen to this. Oh, something going on with my internet here. Okay. Ooh. Look at this. FBI is waiting. I think this is a made-for-television movie. Okay, but let me read it to you. Let me read it here. Currently, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California has confirmed that several investigations are underway involving alleged election-related irregularities tied to the California primary elections. The developments are now drawing significant attention, with growing calls for federal authorities, including the FBI, to take further action and thoroughly examine the situation. The case is expected to escalate as more details emerge and scrutiny intensifies. WhiteHouse.gov. Okay, so that tells you. Ooh. We got some here, Brandon
15
Gill.
million illegal aliens who are murdering, raping, torturing, and pillaging our people. And they did it as part of a cynical ploy to structurally rig our elections by importing a new electorate. Millions of people that they believed would be future Democrat voters in perpetuity. We have got to end this, and President Trump is ending it right now. And we cannot allow Democrats to unleash the same kind of hell on our people that they did over the past 4 years. We've got to codify President Trump's border protection policies into law. I've got a Remain in Mexico bill that does just that. In his first term, President Trump's Remain in Mexico Act reduced border apprehensions by 70%. It was one of his most effective policies. We've got over 100 co-sponsors on this bill, including 2 Democrats, by the way, who have found religion suddenly. We've got to get this signed into law. We've got to get it to the House floor to support our president and to support the American people.
Okay, so that right there is Brandon Gill. I believe our next Speaker of the House we're going to have here. He's a monster, guys. Brandon Gill is my rep here in Denton County. I've reached out to him to help me with my disability case, and he has been a part of it, getting stuff rolling, get the ball rolling, okay? He is a monster. He is a Trump supporter all the way through, and he would be an excellent Speaker of the House if we can kick out Mike Johnson, because I think Mike Johnson's going a little bit far left now, more center, I guess. So we're going to see about that. I'm trying to see here where I can find. I'm trying to look for the homeless. I'm probably not going to find it. The U.S. officials say Israel has been aggressively spying on top American leaders and eavesdropping on Trump's administration negotiations with Iran. Key targets include Steve Witkoff, Elbridge Colby, Michael Domino. Listen to this. Okay, my internet. We'll be getting Starlink soon. Israel's threat rating is now higher than any other American ally, even higher than some adversaries. Wow. And I cannot. Okay, here we go.
Defense Department has increased the counterintelligence threat assessment to its highest level, and Israel is believed to have eavesdropped on American
I apologize.
negotiations with Iran. NBC News, the Pentagon has raised Israel's spying threat level to critical. How did they get that information? Who gave it to them? U.S. officials say Israel is aggressively surveilling top American leaders to get inside information on the Trump administration's Iran and Lebanon strategy. New reporting confirms Israel's been eavesdropping on the American peace negotiations themselves. The target is named Steve Witkoff, Trump's top negotiator with Iran. Elbridge Colby, the Pentagon's policy chief, and Michael Domino, who runs Middle East policy. American defense personnel in Israel discovered spywares installed on their phones. One senior official described the Israeli election effort against top U.S. officials as unhinged. And the rating in context, Israel's counterintelligence threat level is now even higher than any other American ally and even higher than some adversaries. Notice the target of a prominent advocate of foreign policy restraint in the government. Mino runs Mideast policy. Witkoff writes the deal. All this while Israel officers sit inside CENTCOM with unprecedented access, while Congress moves Section 224 to link the two military systems and data permanently.
So there you go. We got Israel spying. For some reason, Trump thinks that he can trust Bibi. I don't understand where Trump has this thinking. You can't trust Bibi. He's a terrorist as well. Okay? Netanyahu is not a good guy. Him and the government are not good people. They are bad, bad, bad. They can't be trusted. He started Gaza, for Christ's sakes. He wanted a war. So he started Gaza himself. He killed his own people. He's not good, but Trump seems to think he's good. And they say, well, Trump's playing a part. Trump's keeping him close. Okay, you keep your friends close, your enemies closer. Okay, but damn, Trump. I know they're saying save Israel for last. He'll get him. But get the hell out of Iran and get over to Israel and get him out. Take him to prison. Have him stand trial for war crimes. And be done. And install a new government in Israel. Simple as that. Be done with it. Dude. I don't get it. All right, I got one more article to share with you. From the Gateway Pundit. Oh, wait a second. Oh, nope. All right, let me read this to you. Hopefully you can see it. Citizenship revocations. This is from 1440. And I gave it, but this is from 1440. The Justice Department announced yesterday that it will work to strip citizenship from 17 naturalized U.S. citizens, the largest cohort to date. The announcement comes weeks after the DOJ named a dozen other cases. Federal law allows denaturalization if individuals lied on their immigration forms, including by failing to disclose crimes. While most denaturalization cases are successful, the process is legally complex and can stall in federal courts. From 1990 to 2017, the DOJ worked to denaturalize an average of 11 U.S. citizens per year. That pace has since increased to roughly 15 per year. Ooh, slow down. The largest batch of cases among hundreds the DOJ intends to pursue includes people from countries including Haiti, Mexico, the Philippines, and the former Yugoslavia. 5 were accused of child sexual abuse crimes, including a former Catholic priest from Colombia. Others were accused of money laundering, fraud, and crimes related to using false identities. If denaturalized, the individuals may face prison time or deportation. Well, okay. All right. Way to go, Trump. Let's do it. Let's get him out. More of that. But we need more of denaturalizing and deporting the very people in your Congress that are not on your page, that are stabbing you in the back. Can we do that? We need to primary them all out. Primary them all out. Now, I haven't seen the elections as to what's going on with Pratt and all them. I haven't seen it. Maybe you guys have. I don't know. But I just have a feeling that Pratt is going to beat Susan Collins. He's going to go on. And we're going to lose the Senate as well. And they're going to impeach Trump the day after they all take over power. January 5th or 6th of 2027. So we need to get out and vote. Even though, do I trust my vote? I trust my vote in red states more than I trust them in blue states. But sometimes red states cheat. They cheat too. I mean, we've got Republicans in seats, judges and all that here in Texas. DAs that have been cheating for years. Using people like they do in California to go out and pay $5 a vote. And keep doing it. And keep doing it and keep doing it. People making $5,000 to $10,000 a day pushing these votes out for these candidates to be able to keep their power and their seat so they can keep being crooked and make more money. $5,000 a day is a drop in the bucket for some of these crooked officials that we have in Texas that are paying to win. So, it's not safe anywhere. It's not. So, guys, it's been 35 minutes. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I appreciate it very much. And I look forward to talking with you tomorrow. We'll have some more. We'll be talking about Graham Plattner and Susan Collins tomorrow. Okay? But 35 minutes of your life will never get back. But thank you so much. Hey, if you like it, if you like what you see, like, share, subscribe. Hit the thumbs, hit the heart, hit the share, hit the subscribe, the follow, whatever. It's free. It's free to follow me on all these platforms. And then if you want to subscribe, you can for $5 a month. It's up to you. But if you like it, please help grow my channel. I'd appreciate it so much. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening, and I shall see you tomorrow. Night-night.